95 points, 22 assists, and 18 rebounds. It's going to be ugly. I want to say last time we played the Thunder, though, we actually played them really tight. It was kind of fun and nice to see. Maybe we're a matchup challenge for them for some inexplicable reason. I don't know why we would be, considering that they're got some really, two of the greatest offensive players in the league in Durant and Westbrook, and our defense is one of the, if not the worst in all the league. Our offense has been exceptional the last month or two, though. But it seems like we've gone with the full youth movement, getting rid of Miller, getting rid of Martin. Our best five by far is Rubio at the 1, Levine at the 2, Wiggins at the 3, Cat at the 4, and Jeng at the 5. Once we get past that, we have little to no depth. I personally am a fan of Shabazz Muhammad as like your 7th or 8th guy, on the depth chart, being that second or third dude to come off the bench and just look to create instant offense. But the problem is Sam Mitchell still insists on substituting in the game of basketball as though it was the game of hockey. His substitutions are these ridiculous line changes. And when you've got a team that's not deep, we're playing with these guys pretty good every night with our best 5, and then we take 4 or 5 of them out and put in our entire bench, and our entire bench freaking stinks. Okay, we have no depth whatsoever. Outside of, like I said, Shabazz Muhammad and maybe 1 or 2 people. Tyus Jones is a nice little project, but he's got a long way to go yet before he's ready to really contribute in any way on a nightly basis to an NBA team. And so, as a result, what you have T-Wolves fans here in Minnesota looking at, at the end of the season here is patiently waiting for Karl Anthony Towns to win Rookie of the Year, which is all but an official done deal. There's no way it won't happen now at this point. He's got it in the bag. The cat's in the bag. Oh, man, I'm good. I should have a podcast or something. But we're waiting for that. We're watching Levine develop. We're watching Wiggins develop. We're watching Jeng develop. We're watching Rubio play, which is nice. At least we'll take it. That's more than we've gotten for the majority of his career. But we're looking, a lot of fans are rooting for losses to increase our ping pong balls and our odds of, getting a good pick or a higher pick in the upcoming NBA draft, which, in my opinion, that is probably our best case scenario. If we can get a top 5 pick and get a legitimate starting NBA point guard with that pick, it could be off to the races here as early as next season. But I do think the one thing holding that back, which would be the other thing we're looking to here in Minnesota, is what's going to happen with the head coaching position. Is Sam Mitchell going to stay as our head coach? I can't imagine how or why that would possibly happen. But knowing this organization and the way their front office makes decisions, well, that's what we're going to get stuck with. I'd rather have him go to assistant coach Sidney Lowe and re-bring him back as our head coach. If we're going to try old former players that are, meant to be assistants, on the current staff, well, why not give Sidney Lowe a try? Because Sam Mitchell stinks. He can't coach defense. He doesn't have a clue. Dude cannot coach defense. I just don't like him as a person when it comes to his attitude and demeanor while he's coaching and in dealing with fans and sports media. Just an idiot jerk who's really insecure, and that's not how you change a culture from a losing culture going on 13 seasons now in a row without being in the playoffs. That's right. You have to change that culture. We have a losing culture here in Minnesota, and it's diseased. And that was one of the reasons we brought KG back, was to try and change it back into the winning culture we had with him. And as long as Sam Mitchell is at the helm, there is no way we can turn this into a winning culture. So we got to get Sam Mitchell out. We're all just patiently waiting to see what they do there, but don't be surprised if they sign him to a frickin' 1 to 3 year deal, and then before the All-Star break next year, his Rudy Poo Candy A is fired because we're idiots. But hopefully we will, respectfully and politely ask him to please stop being the head coach of this team at the end of this season, and we'll look to bring in an actual real head coach who can develop and teach all these young and incredibly talented pieces that we currently have. All right. Well, that's it for Balls Dribble. And I don't think, you know what? Let's see. WWE talk. WWE kind of sucks right now. Got this live event called Roadblock coming up either this Saturday. I want to say it's next Saturday. We'll have Dean Ambrose versus Triple H for the title. Spoiler alert, Triple H is going to retain. It's a total filler, predictable live event. The only thing that makes it not a pay-per-view is it's held on a Saturday night, not a Sunday night. Otherwise, in all reality, it is a pay-per-view that you watch you watch on the WWE Network for $9.99. But that's the only bit of WWE news I'm going to talk about right now. Rumors, actually one more. Big rumors that John Cena has, or might retire. So keep an eye on that. He's following. Dude's had so many surgeries, so many injuries, and he's at a point in his career where, like, well, what's the point? You got to weigh the risk rewards, and if the risk is fairly high, then it shouldn't be that hard of a decision to make. But boy, if that were to be the case, have Cena retire just a month or two after Daniel Bryan retires, like, oh my gosh, like, watch WWE stockholders panic and just sell their shares at, like, half a cent, which I'll pick some up, I think, actually, but anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. Just a rumor as of right now, far as I know. But the other wrestling, the wrestling you should be watching and caring about right now, is on the El Rey Network. If you don't have it, get it. Contact your TV provider and demand it. You will thank me later. Lucha Underground. Lucha. Had another episode here this Wednesday night, and in my opinion, it was the best episode of the season yet, which is saying a lot, because almost every episode is a 5-star episode of this program. Best wrestling TV product ever. Watch it, even if you're not a wrestling fan. Check out Lucha Underground sometime. You might like it. Like, it's that freaking good. But the main event was a big triple threat for the title between champion Mil Muertes, former champion Prince Puma, and super over Pentagon Jr. Mil Muertes retained. No big surprise there. Looked strong doing it. We had the debut of Marty the Mothman's sister. Sorry about that if you heard that. And I don't remember what the middle match was, but it was really, really good too. So, and I saw that the ratings were down this week. But you can't ever judge the quality on that, because generally the ratings for this week reflect the quality of last week's product. So you had people tune into last week's product that weren't impressed, or decided for whatever reason then not to watch this week. But so next week, expect ratings to be back up following a phenomenal episode. But that's all we got, so let's get to our final topic, which we call Balls Deep Thought of the Day. Now, a story we haven't got to yet, we saved here for the end. Big story, everybody knows about it. Peyton Manning, legendary NFL quarterback, after 18 seasons wearing number 18, has decided to retire from the game of football. He announced it, I want to say, on Monday, something like that. And it was the right decision to make for him. What I did mention is it ended up really biting the Broncos in the butt. They wanted him to retire so that they could re-sign Brock Osweiler, and then Brock Osweiler signed with someone else after he retired. But anyway, Peyton Manning retires. Super great quarterback. Think of him what you will. 5 regular season MVPs, most all time. 2 Super Bowl victories. Those 2 Super Bowl victories are with different teams. I want to say he is the only player to do that, which is a crazy thought. I still can't believe that to be true, but that's what I read everywhere. So it must be. But with that said, let's, and he holds basically every record, most wins by a quarterback ever, most yards, most touchdowns, probably most interceptions too. All of Favre's records that Favre took, that were all of Marino's records, they're now all of Peyton's records. His name's on the top of the list. Though the only ones would be Super Bowl MVPs and Super Bowl victories. That's the only place he's not at the top of the list at. So that inspires our Balls Deep thought of the day. And our Balls Deep thought of the day is this: where does Peyton Manning rank? Where should Peyton Manning rank on the list of all-time greatest NFL quarterbacks? And I'm not going to answer it for you yet because I don't have the time. My battery on my computer is dying. I'm over time on the show, so we're going to sum it up a little bit, okay? Whatever you think about Peyton Manning or not, shit. No. So, yeah, I had a technical difficulty there, but I think hopefully this will fix it. But anyway, almost lost the whole show. Oh my gosh. That would have been fun, right? But anyway, Balls Deep thought of the day. Where's Peyton Manning rank on your all-time greatest quarterbacks list? Facts are, if you're the type of person, okay, because some people put him at 1, 2, 3, it's like, well, he's got the most yards, most touchdowns, most everything, that's fine if you want to put him that high. I don't think he's quite that high. But the thing that gets me, and this is all I want to point out to you, and I'll tell you what I think next week, and you can think about it as well. But if you're the type of person that, Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time, Joe Montana and Brady and Montana, they got 4 Super Bowls. Heck, even Bradshaw got 4 Super Bowls. And Peyton, he never won in the playoffs. Yeah, he got 2 Super Bowls. Both his defense won in both the Super Bowls. Okay, well, if you're a Super Bowl guy, if that's your argument, winning Super Bowls, only Peyton Manning is the 12th quarterback in history to win multiple Super Bowls. Therefore, if you're that idiot Super Bowl guy, that's your argument, then Peyton Manning cannot, under any circumstances, be ranked lower than the 12th greatest quarterback of all time on your list. Me personally, I think he's a little bit above that. I would put Peyton Manning somewhere probably in between, anywhere between 3 and 8. So, probably 5 or 6, be a safe guess. But that's my range for him, I think, right now. I'm going to put some more Balls Deep thought into it. You put some more Balls Deep thought into it. And we'll maybe start off next week's show with, that number and then move into our new stories. But anyway, I got to get out of here. I shouldn't have went this long. I've never said that before. Honest to God truth. Anyway, thanks for tuning into the show, as hopefully you do every week. Like me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter. You've got the info. Tune in next week, whether it be on SoundCloud, YouTube, or my personal favorite, the Spreaker app. Until next time, I'm Scotty Ball, and I'm out of here. Peace!